Singles are often ask me if they're in a really good dating relationship and they're trying to practice chastity and saying, I want to restrain from certain behaviors, I want to restrain my sexuality and really make it full and whole, and I want to save sexual intercourse and orgasms for marriage. They'll oftentimes say, but in this dating relationship it gets confusing. How far can I go? Well, gang, one thing I would say is, if we really take apart that question, how far can I go, and think about it, isn't that a pretty selfish question? How far can I go? Isn't it a pretty, I don't know, kind of unwise question, because it's almost like we're saying, where's the stop sign? And I want to come as close to the stop sign as I can get and maybe do a rolling stop, but I'll try to stop if it's going to hurt me. So whenever people come to me and say, well, how far can I go? I'll say, why don't we re-ask that question? I think a wiser question would be, how can I help my boyfriend grow into the man God intends him to be sexually? How could I help my girlfriend go into the woman God intends her to be sexually? Much better question than how far can I go? But I still think it has merit. I mean, we do have to sort out what exactly is permissible. And I think that part of that, when I look at it, if I'm looking at guidelines that can help me guard my sexuality, help it develop and evolve the way I would like it to in the relationship, so that it can be all that I want it to be in marriage, I think a part of how far can I go is a fair question too. And if I were just trying to give a simple answer, I probably would say, try to honor the bikini line. And the bikini line starts to get into genitality. To me, when we start to get playing with, manipulating genitals, our breasts and nipples, anything that's beneath a bikini, those are things that God, I don't think I know He boundaries. And those are things that we could be careful about. Sometimes in a playful way, I heard someone say this one time, it's kind of funny, that the bikini line is, if you don't have one, don't play with someone else's. But it's basically looking at the genitality and drawing a line there and saying, that is not where I want to go. But oftentimes I'll have couples say, well, help me a little bit more, Doug, because sometimes I'm just so horny and I'm so in love and I'm just so enjoying the physical stimulation, and we really are being three-dimensional because I'm not just using his body or I'm not using her body. This kissing is getting me really turned on emotionally too, and I just feel so close to them as we have sexual expression. Our hearts are really connecting. How can I be wise? And so I think part of that when I talk to singles is that there are just some things that are common sense. Because I sometimes have people say, well, I have never, boundaries, right? I just never do anything unless I'm in love, or I never sleep with anyone unless I'm in love with him or her. But I think that there's a part of this that we can wisely realize alcohol diminishes our capacity to make good choices. I think late at night, I remember one couple that came to me that were trying to really work through chastity, and they said, Doug, we just went farther than we wanted to again, and we just feel a bit of shame. And so I was helping them sort out, because they had thought through that they wanted to really practice fidelity in their marriage, and that this was basic training for their marriage if they were practicing chastity now. And so they came and said, we just went too far, and I was going to not give them heavy guilt trip, but I thought I might throw a little bit in there and say, so I told them, I said, what if this weekend was a time when God was trying to help you understand how far can I go, and trying to help you understand chastity, trying to help you keep some boundaries, because He knew, let's call him Jake, because He knew that Jake, 2 years from now, was going to be in a work setting with a very seductive woman who was going to try to pursue him and break the marriage up and try to get him to be involved with her sexually. And this weekend, God was teaching Jake some discipline of saying, you could have sexual attraction, but I'm going to give you the power to make good choices. And they just hung their heads in shame, and they felt so guilty. And then I said, whoa, I'm not trying to just create guilt. I said, you've got over, I think it was 6 or 8 weeks to the marriage. You still have 6 or 8 weekends. You still have a lot of horny to get through, where God's going to help you learn how to discipline your feelings and be able to make those wise choices, knowing that this is basic training for the future too. So when you look at how far can I go, I really would like you to think through better questions, like how can I help him or her grow? Or how can I learn some of these basic principles, the wisdom of some of this, so that I can know how to make the good choices for a lifetime of marriage together?